Hey babes, I'm gonna throw you a little bit of Planet Dusk culture in this vid. What you can expect is some ideas for your self-care practice the week of July 13th, 14th, 15th, etc. July 14th was a new moon. We are in a very strong transition where all of the outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, are all doing big things. And is this about astrology? Yeah, but this is also about the personal and collective motion of energy. July 14th new moon in Cancer is an invitation to reflect on the care that we give ourselves and others, but I'm gonna one-up it. I'm gonna say this new moon for me feels like the personal is political. It is an opportunity to recognize that home is the front line of the feminist movement to decenter the ways in which care is invalidated as labor, the way in which we devalue disabilities. It's Disability Pride Month, and the opportunity to flush some systemic dankness. And what do I mean by that? I think that this new moon, against the backdrop of so much collective movement in the psyche, movement in the collective psyche, is the point at which we recognize that we were never okay, and that we have inherited bodies and a world and narratives that were never whole, that never cared for us. And now more than ever, I think we're recognizing how we have othered anyone who is not as able as someone else. I've definitely been on the wave of normalizing discussions about mental health, mental illness, normalizing doing whatever the fudge you need to do to get grounded in yourself, normalizing weirdness. And I agree still with those basic ideas, like a Disability Pride Month. But I also believe that we fundamentally are always comparing what we can do to what we can't do and what others can or can't do. And this is all also intimately tied with mental health and mental illness and whiteness. I mean, the idea of being white is fundamentally rooted in superiority over other people. The fundamental notion of being a white, good Christian as opposed to a black person, a brown person, a person who had some animistic or pagan type religion or practice or worship. This goes down to the slave trades, down to owning humans as capital. So for me, caring for oneself and caring for others connects down to valuing who they are as they are, and rather than putting the onus of that work outside on our public space and our institutions and governance, the home is where this happens. This also, for me, speaks into the current Chiron sitch. Chiron moving into Taurus as a fundamental note of discomfort in the body and resources, and how we are resourcing our life force, really. Do our self-care practices feel sustainable? Do they tap into joy and ease and peace? Despite everything ever, I'm going to go with survey says probably not. Our self-care practices probably only get us good enough in the moment to deal with the moment. But I propose to you the exploration of finding what actually makes you feel good in your mind and your body and your being, so that you can be more present and boomerang out the ability to care for others. And that caring might also just look like holding someone in presence for who they are. Noticing where you might be projecting or changing or making them something other than they are. That looks like someone who might have a physical, a visible disability, an invisible disability, like cognitive challenges, difficulties in thinking, body-based challenges, epilepsy, diabetes can be invisible disabilities. Can you receive someone who can voice what they need and care enough to hold them where they are? Collectively, this is not something that culture teaches us. This is something we have to actually choose. And that's why I feel that it's part of Planeta's culture to acknowledge this. To also honor boundaries that I might be like, what? I'm not cool with that, except that if you are giving me a boundary, then I must honor that. Example, I have a person in my life who I recently found out was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had my own scare with that last year. I know full well how fudging terrifying it is. And this person was someone who was so important to me. I treated her I considered her like a sister for years and years and years, but a few years ago, the friendship didn't feel good. And I put up boundaries to say, that's it, no more. Over the pandemic, I reached out to ask if everything was okay on her end, checking in with many friends during that initially strange time. And she never responded. And later I let her know about a creative project that I was working on that involved some stories about her. And she never responded. So now, as I hear of this health challenge, my first reaction was to pick up the phone. And when I saw those texts left unread, copy that. That's the boundary that she's giving to me. And I honor that. So what does it mean that I'm up in here trying to say, oh, but I care for you, and I know this is a scary time, and I want to be there for you, and I can't give you that care? It doesn't matter what it means to me. It means right now, for her, the boundary is up. This new moon in Cancer makes me reflect on that and think about other spaces where it takes two to tango. Boundaries go both ways. There's no reason to overstep into places where the road doesn't go. It's not a case of being the bigger person and saying, oh, but I know right now. It's not a case of being the little person and saying, well, she doesn't really want to hear from me anyway. That's cool. This new moon is bringing up the ways in which, in the name of self-care, we kind of overstep each other's boundaries. And collectively, this all hurts. Right? This all makes us feel a certain way. And this applies to caring for individuals with disabilities who may or may not voice what they need, their boundaries. But we have to look at them as people, and when there is a boundary drawn, we have to honor it. Now, I started this with the big idea too, that the personal is political. And it is. The government ain't got no right to be saying who we can love, how we can handle our bodies, who is an illegal body, or anything. And as in the United States, the government is doing that, going harder than ever. It shows for me the need to acknowledge just how far off we've become. Just how we've never achieved that utopian golden era, the grand, great golden age that we want to return back to. No, it's all accumulated. It's in the systemic dankness. It's held in our bodies, in our cultural body, in the unconscious of the culture, in the way that we are networked physically. We gotta flush it out. And the outer planets, again, in a broad summary, offer us this window of opportunity to really shift our attitudes and expel some of this unconscious cultural material if we want to, if we bring awareness to it. It's not all about the breakthrough and transformation. We all know this shit's gotta happen. This shit as in, like, we need this breakdown to deconstruct some of this super dank colonial structure of thought in our minds, where anyone who wasn't white, who didn't fit the bill, who was, I don't know, undesirable, was othered. So we have to find our humanity. We have to find the joy that sustains us in society. We have to find that place where we left off and forgot that was even accessible to us at all. And maybe that's lifetimes ago. But through a self-care practice, through perhaps some imagination, through perhaps some auto-fictionalizing, some just grabbing onto a situation and writing into the space where you wish something would have happened and then it didn't, but then you let it go. In the space of fiction and imagination and visual and creative play, you let it go. And that's how you flush it from the system, because when you achieve those things that experience, even if it's in your imagination and in your mind, you have a little bit of a shift in your mind. You have a little bit of shift in your heart. It might just be play. It might just be creative writing. It might just be imagination, but you have that experience that you wish you had. So to my friends, I imagine a little bit of metta meditation. Sending love, should it be received, and otherwise, swaha. Respect the boundary, let it go. Do we do more than that? Nah. That in itself, the ability to do that and regulate back into your own being, your own self, sense of self, is bigly important. And that's all you can do. The astrology is once in a lifetime, lifetimes, right? But we still have to live at the level of everyday. These nice, big, consciousness expanding ideas are great, but we live at the level of everyday. We might go into flights of fancy or just stay angry, stay depressed, stay something. But we still live in the everyday. So my question to you is how can you hold yourself in a way that is true to who you are, even if you've never been held like that before, even if society has never held you like that before. Can you just even dream? And then can you let that go? Flush a little bit of this systemic dankness out of you with microbursts of imagination and let it go. Or validate your joy and revisit your day and find the moments when you went, oh, actually, that kind of was really cool. Let me hold that one more time, that memory, and let it go. Embrace joy, even if it's just for like 2 seconds. You are allowed to do that. And let it go. The world is on fire, but we're still in it, and we are by nature joy. We are by nature love. We just got a little twisted in the mind over time. Created a whole lot of divisions that aren't really real. And no matter how your body is being in this world, abled or not, no matter how your mind is being in this world, able to receive joy or not, can you get clear on your path? Get clear on the path back to yourself, back to that self-regulation, back to where you say, oh, okay, this is me, and that is you. Here's my boundary. I honor it. I honor you. Now let me remember moments of joy. Big love.